We're heading up to Arthur's Cottage. Cullerbacky's just down there. We gate lodge and all. This is the old lane. You see where the lane would have went down. So back when the president lived here, that's what the road would have looked like there. Basically all muck. We've got a wee bit of modern tarmac now. A wee street lighting too. So no coaches beyond this point here, boys. There's a wee house in front now. Now them boys would have walking on their bare feet. I've left my phone behind. Hang on, get my phone. Arthur's Cottage. There we go. Arthur's Cottage. Dreen Road, Cullerbackie. Come along this weekend, enjoy some freshly baked sodas. I'm not beating that. Straight from the griddle without all the rest. What was he? He was, I found out tonight today, I think it's 21st president. But you probably find it was his parents came from here or something. I found out today, I don't know. But usually the parents move out to America and then the Waynes then, they become presidents. That's the usual story. But maybe this one's different. But this has been used now as a community hall. Wilson's house outside Staban, President Wilson's house. One of his ancestors or whatever it is taught me English at school. Still living in around Staban yet. How you doing?
How you in there?
How you doing? Hi there. The wee American flag outside, just like they show. Now, I wonder how many stars in that flag. I doubt when he was president there wasn't that many stars. Nobody asked. Look, a star. 4 stars, boys. 4 stars. So this is open all year round here, 11 to 3 p.m.
Hello.
Hi there. Hi there.
Hello.
The gramophone record player there. Must get this in there. You wind up handle. Please do not touch. Should have that outside, shouldn't I? Try to get it down now. Oh my god. We're going to be through out. Make a wee basket.
Making corn dollies, so that's them there.
What I would have done when I think of that much was Maria.
Mm-hmm.
I've never seen her doing it when she was alive. Like, she always told us about doing it.
Yes. It's a wee bit of a skill in doing it. Just all a lot of weaving.
So that's just ordinary corn after the harvest has gone over, you just soften it.
Yep, you just soften it. And hopefully it doesn't snap.
Was there a purpose of making it? Was it a Celtic thing or was it just for fun?
Harvest decorations. And again, it was all to do with pagan times and all as well. And then also, they were actually made into dollies for children. So if you're really skilled at making it, there's a dollies there in the book.
When you were them mummers in Armagh, would they have made their things the same
That
idea?
is done in the exact same way.
So would they have used the same...
Same methods.
Right.
just again, bigger scale and more talent.
I thought it was like a wicker they used, but it's just
would be the same type of an idea, using mixture of straw rope, weaving like this, and a bit of thatching and all weaved in. So it is a lovely skill to do, but just fiddly. But if you're fine with it, it's nice enough to do. You do that.
How did you learn how to do it?
I learned it a week ago by the lady who works here.
Right.
So she would do this all at this time of year, and she just loves doing it. And it's a nice enough wee thing to do.
What happens when you come to an end? Do you join one on or what?
You can join them on. So it's just worked like joining straws together.
Push one outside the other?
One inside the other. So if you see there, that's hollow. Get your other end and just fit it in, and away you go.
On.
Continue on. And it's simple. Like it is just basic stuff. And then you tie it off with a wee bit of thread, and then when you're ready to display it nice, you can get nice ribbon and tie it off as well. So it's just
that is like a wee house there. That might have been a wee barn thing, the big barn doors. So that must have been where they kept it. It'd be nice if that still had it, true honest. Got a wee orchard there with apples. Look at that wee wicker door there, boys. Take some weaving for that. Stone steps. Dark for the GoPro. So this is what you normally expect. See, I'd be happy living in a house like this now. I don't need different rooms.
Oh, hello there, sir. This
see,
your first time here?
I didn't even know this place existed. I was going to Grace Hall, is it? And I noticed this place is nearby. We'll call in.
Well, it's been here a couple of hundred years. So the Arthur family lived here until they emigrated to America in the early 1800s. Have you been into the little museum, the little room? So there's a bit of information there about when they left. So it's the ancestral home because the father of Chester Alan Arthur was born here, but then they emigrated when the father was in around about 21 years old. And they went to America, and Chester was born out there. You have to be born in American soil to be an American president.
Right.
So if he'd been born here, he couldn't have been an American president. So it's just furnished in a very simple way to show the basic farming life, how a family would have lived in its day. There would have been two families living here. This was one family's cottage, and then the other one where the little interpreter centre is would have been another family. And the Arthurs owned about 20 acres, which was, depending on the field size, about 3 to 4 fields worth. And they had enough, they grew enough and were able to exist in a fairly comfortable way, and they were able to then send their son William to the Belfast Inst to get an education, and then he went on to become a teacher when he went out to America.
Right.
So they were, comfortable enough. People ask me, why did they leave and go to America when they were doing okay? They left before the potato famine, so in some ways it was a good time for them to have left rather than perhaps things become very difficult during the potato famine era. But maybe they just wanted a fresh start. Perhaps the young ones in the family said, look, why don't we go? Friends might have, relatives might have emigrated, and they were having a different sort of a life out there. So that's possibly just was some of the reasons why they would have left.
What port would they have left from? From this
what
part
port?
Of the country?
Well, Belfast was quite a big port. Sometimes they went down to Dublin, or they might have gone over to Liverpool and leave from there. But it's more likely they would have just left from Ireland and gone. Possibly, I don't think Cork would be more for people in the southern part. But Belfast was a fairly big port in its day.
So did the whole family go?
The whole family, yes. There was just 2 children, and then the mother and father. So they left for America.
So would they have just sold everything off before they left?
Yes, they would have sold the farm, and another family moved in, and off they went. So fresh start. So just cooking the soda breads there. This one is the second batch I did. I wasn't sure how many visitors would have. There'll be 2 griddles on the go. The dry griddle is for the soda bread and the potato bread because you're just using a bit of flour. And then there would be another griddle. There's one away being cleaned and de-rusted. and it would be for pancake making, and for the more oily type cooking you don't ever mix the dry bakes and the oilier mix. So that's the original chimney there with the crane and the hooks just to swing back and forwards.
Well, that chimney's actually unusual, so it is, compared to most old houses I see.
Well, the ones that I would have seen in the Ulster Irish Folk Park and things, they're rather similar. They're to the two holes. So it's just there's the outer, there's a little hole at the back there which goes back, and then the really big hole there.
Right.
So very very typical of a cottage of its era. Sometimes they would be a wee bit lower the mantle, but this one's a fairly.
There's no grate enough on that depth there. It's just the stands up how they've done it.
Underneath there's a wee bit of a grate, but we built it up just to get it closer to the crane. But no, it isn't cooked over. Traditionally, they would have just literally put their wood down onto the earth. But you want to have a bit of ash each time when you're relighting your fire, because it takes a long time to get a fire started. If you scraped all that away and I come in tomorrow and started on the stone, it takes a long time because the stone's so cold. But tonight, or when I leave this afternoon, I will cover that over, and those embers will actually still be alight in small fragments. And it means then when we start the fire tomorrow, there's a bit of heat underneath and it gets started quicker. So it's very handy that.
They'll just burn peat and all with it.
Yes, got a bag, this basket here of peat. I just start the fire with a bit of paper and put the peat over, and we do obviously use matches because we're slightly more modern, but we just get the fire on first thing. And we don't always cook every day, but because it's the Heritage Weekend, we're cooking the sodas over the fire. I'm actually going to take that off because it slightly burns the flour a wee bit, and I've got my bellows here which I can get my flames going again. But I've more or less finished cooking for the day. I might put another wee bit of peat on, that gets it going again. Bellows are my friend. And so just put a couple of these small bits on just to keep it going. There's quite a bit of the sort of fibres in the, and that's what catches in the fire. I know it's a very poor day.
Peat wouldn't last very long, would it?
It burns very quickly because it's dry. Yes, you would go through quite a lot, but families quite often had bought peat cutting rights, in a peat area. I'm not sure we get those through a merchant, obviously, but back in the day, I suppose they would have cut in the glens of Antrim, I would have thought.
Right.
So very simple life. Up early when it got light, stacking up the fire, the lady of the day cooking again, maybe doing a big pot of porridge for them, heading out to do the fields, look after some crops maybe. They went off to market a couple of times a week and maybe took things with them to exchange and barter or sell. They would have had a few chickens, maybe a pig, and they had maybe a horse to pull the plough and to put in their horse and trap.
So they actually owned this, but they didn't rent it?
I believe they owned it. I believe that. Well, I believe they owned it. I think around the 1900s, people were bringing in new laws about ownership, but no, they decided just to leave, pack up and go off to America for a better life. Why not? Yes, so it's good to be able to take a few things off.
So that's the wee bedroom upstairs there.
Well, it would have been primarily a storeroom for the winter time, and then when the farmhand came in the spring to help with the crops and ploughing the land, he would have maybe slept there, or a milking maid could have been there as well. The one bedroom would have been the one bed in there for the mum and dad, and then there would have been another bed for the children. And maybe when the teenagers got a bit older, they would have maybe asked to sleep up there to give them a wee bit of space away from mum and dad. So primarily a storeroom, things put up on hooks to try and keep them away from the mice. But it was very much a simple existence. This is a trundle bed, so it unhooks at the side and opens up and becomes almost a double bed inside, so a small double. And maybe grandparent could have slept there if they were still living with the family, or if a visitor came there and they were staying overnight. And they could see the ladies would have been quilting and doing crocheting. Obviously they're a more modern one, they're obviously not original to the cottage. But it was very much in the evening time the ladies would have been stitching and sewing and repairing things and creating quilts as presents, or if somebody got married, they were all part of a quilting bee. So help yourself to a bit of...
I don't need stuff like that.
Oh, you don't? All right, no
I'm
problem.
not adventurous.
Okay, there's a bit of soda bread there if you like a little piece. It's just cooked up.
Thank you.
All right, thank you. So you've been in next door already?
Normally when you go to these wee cottages, they've always got weaving things and stuff like this. Your next room, this is just a 2-room cottage. See, I never understand why they don't make more for the upstairs, like. That's quite a posh bed there. I wonder how many people's died in that bed over the years. Leave for ensuite in them days. There's your ensuite there. You peed in there. You washed there. Any poo, you had to go outside. Family Bible. There's your washing machine there. See, a wee house like this will suit me, you know. A bit of damp in the wall behind the bed. But I hate all these different rooms in a house. They washed that, they just washed. I wouldn't want a washboard, like I like my washing machine. But I think that's one of the worst things. One of the best inventions was a washing machine. You wouldn't want to go back to them days. But they did it in front of the fire. The bath in front of the fire. You did everything they wanted. You didn't worry about spilling the hot. Didn't need your carpet cleaners at home. My mop would have done the job with the sewing machine. No spinning wheels and nothing like that. These are proper farmers here. I take it that's your man there, from the parents. I wouldn't want a photograph of myself up in my room, so I wouldn't. You always put the wee candles next to a mirror. A double candle there, boys. These are well to do. They could burn 2 candles in one go. Aye. Wee oil lamps. And set fire to everything, them boys.
Chimney there, and if it rains, unfortunately, it comes right down the back of the fire, and it's a bit of a challenge cooking.
Oh, that wouldn't be so good, no.
Hey, thank you very much.
All right, thank you very much.
So these must be well-to-do people here, like. They owned their house, they owned their land, and they could sell it. They went away before famine times. That's like, you always find like bitcoins or anything, the people who do things first are the ones that make the money. So because they went to America because they wanted to go to America and were prepared to go to America, they done well. While other ones who had to go on boats because they were starving or going to starve, they were out in a rush. She's got a wee nose and all on her, boys. A wee nose and all on her. A wee basket. There's a lot of peat in them there, boys, and wee wheelbarrows. So we're doing a wee bit of wood preserve and all, like the metal and all is coming after. You think the wood would rot before the metal, wouldn't you? I wonder, was that a real well there? She looks like a real well, you know. That actually looks like it could be a real well there. Well done. Because there's nothing ornamental about it. All these wee ornamental things, you know they weren't real. It's interesting how she's got one bar there, but no bar here. Let's bring your bucket out from this side here, you see. You wouldn't really bring your bucket out that side with a bar. Normally you get out pumps and all, but you're going way back before pumps there. I'm back on triple dug hole. Excuse me, see that wee well? Was that a real well?
That's the real well, yes. It's obviously blocked up now just for health and safety, but that would have been the water supply.
Was there any idea why they didn't actually build the wells inside the house? Why are they always outside?
Well,
You'd
I
think
suppose
it'd
they
be
were
handier.
boring the hole outside away from the house. And so I would say it's more in terms of the family and things would fall in.
So a wee bit of health and safety in them days too.
Well, yeah, I just think in terms of
That's where it all
maybe
started.
closer to the fields that they needed to maybe get
Probably
rid
on
of the
farm animals and stuff like
horse
that.
and things, yeah.
Probably.
You very rarely would ever see one in the house.
That's right, thank you.
All right.
So that's the real McCoy there, boys. The real McCoy. So I can spot these real things. The whitewash sort of puts it off a wee bit. They used to whitewash. Whitewash is lime, but whitewash is a sterilizer. Kills everything. If you've got any disease or anything, once you whitewash something, it kills all diseases. It's the only time you've got cows giving calf. You always whitewash the sheds and all. So the wee cows are going to be born. And then the cows won't get any disease. But I remember always telling me, if you rub up against whitewash, it comes off on you. That to me looks like paint there. That's white paint they've got on now, because they don't want people getting whitewash on themselves. The whitewash is like a chalk. If you rub against it, it'll leave your coat white. Well, I head back down now to my wee Luna. That was a couple of interesting things there. Fireplace to me, she thought was pretty common. I haven't noticed a fireplace like that one before. There's two flues in it, and as far from all the other stuff's all the same everywhere. Normally when you go to these things, like they're farmers, and I see that no spinning wheel. You see, no spinning wheel, but they must have been well-to-do farmers. They didn't have to do any spinning. It's a very short distance from Collabacky. You can walk from Collabacky up here. You don't have to drive. You can walk it. It'd be easier walking it. You get a wee sign saying turn left, but then there's 3 roads at that left, and they all look like lanes. It's just wide enough for one car. Like, I took the wrong one to begin with. I wouldn't fancy coming up out in the bus. I'm a wee girl now. We're going now to Grace Hall. I'm going to come back to Collabacky later on. She always goes on my seat. We're coming back to Collabacky later on to do the wee glen walk and all this there. It's like, I didn't turn the radio off, Luna. I didn't turn the radio off. It's 2 minutes past 1 now at the minute.